Hello everybody, welcome back, and I am TheChornick, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 settlements. Now first we're going to talk about, should they be in the next game? Should the settlement system be in the next game? How could it be improved if it is in the next game? And so on and so forth, and that's how we'll end the video. Now ladies and gentlemen, first off, we're going to talk about settlements. They were in Fallout 4, this whole settlement system where you were joining the Minutemen and you were like the local militia and you helped out these farms and these individual little settlements and helped people grow and prosper in the Commonwealth despite the harshness and reality of life during that, post-war time. So, ladies and gentlemen, these Minutemen, I guess you could say, like, helped out all these settlers grow their own homes and settlements and, gave birth and rise and wealth to the Commonwealth, I guess you could say. But we are going to talk about the Elder Scrolls 6 here and how Elder Scrolls 6 might even have settlements. Now, if you saw in Skyrim, there was a Hearthfire DLC, and this is what I think kind of gave influence to Fallout 4's settlement system. I think it's kind of what inspired Fallout 4 to have this settlement system. Hearthfire DLC allowed the player in Skyrim to be able to craft their own home, build their own little land, their own little plot, have like a bard and a horse carriage person, and and have like a housecarl and a steward, and then you, and then your family. So you have like your own little town. So in the next game, if there is going to be settlements, we have to think about the different areas that could possibly be settlements, I guess you could say. I guess we could obviously say a farm, a mine, a fort, maybe a town. We could probably build whatever we want on a certain plot of land that we bought from whatever high-ranking power there is, depending on the location that we're placed in for the next Elder Scrolls game. It all depends on the location. That depends on who's giving us what land and so on and so forth. Another idea that came to my mind is that, such as Oblivion, where, say, Kvatch was destroyed during the Oblivion Crisis, like, we never got to personally rebuild Kvatch. Not to my memory, I was never able to do that. So I believe that for the next game, if, say, a city is torn down, maybe it's our responsibility to build up an entire city, like an entire fort, an entire kingdom. I think that would be pretty cool, especially if the next game has something driven by war, or if there's some Daedric god that just destroyed an entire city like Dagon did to Kvatch. That's what my prediction and want to be is. I think we should at least have like a whole city that we could build. Not only that, but we could probably build in forests, in the mountains. So a mine, a farm, a fort, a city, a dungeon, an underground dungeon. That's another really unique one that I was thinking about too, because in Fallout 4, we didn't get an underground settlement until we had the Automatron DLC, which you could have the Mechanist layer as your own settlement. So I thought that was pretty cool. The entire layer is your own. And so I think there should be dungeons that you could build on. I don't know what the circumstance would be to have people live there. I guess you would just hire them. Maybe be some kind of business thing. Maybe it could be like your own private army. Maybe like it's not just the Empire and the Dominion and whatever other armies are facing off or whatever. It could be something completely different. Maybe you're making your own private force. Although I feel like that's gonna be primarily maintained to Fallout, because there's so many different factions that could arise from Fallout. Of course, that could still happen for Elder Scrolls 6, but I feel like Fallout more supports the settlement domain, mainly because you're building from the ground up, trying to give hope and everything. But maybe the world that is torn by war or by Daedra or something in the next game, and you have to rebuild it in the same kind of circumstance, the same kind of situation as how Fallout 4's Commonwealth was in. But that's all my predictions in terms of settlements. Now, the things I want to talk about also is how settlements should be really improved in this game is that they should definitely have a lot more options. They have to have everything that you see in the game, I hope, is an item for the settlement system. off the bat. Of course, maybe DLC will come. I really don't want a settlement DLC like we had in Fallout. I mean, it was kind of a... I mean, I had the season pass for Fallout 4, so it wasn't too big of a deal, but... I mean, I wouldn't really want to pay like $5-6 for just a couple extra items. Like, that's pretty much what the Wasteland Workshop DLC was. Of course, you could build some concrete walls, some different structures. It had enough where I guess like half of that, like $2 or $3 is worth, but it was not. I know $5 is not that much, but it still seemed like they could have added more, especially since it was that low of money. I think they could have added more and still kept it the same price. Like it didn't seem sufficient enough that would be a DLC. I'm like they're working a whole month on just that, on like only these couple items. Not only that, but I hope they actually have dynamic items that actually can move around, not just sit in one place, I believe. So not only junk and not just random objects, but it would be cool to see some objects that can move around. So maybe dwarven machines, perhaps we could have something to do with maybe conveyor belts or something unique and cool like that, maybe to display your weaponry. I think that'd be pretty sweet. And then... so it'd be kind of a display rack that can move around or something like that. So stuff that can move around. Flags again. I hope there's just like things that can move and they should move. I think should be able to move. Obviously, Bethesda will work harder and harder on that kind of stuff. But yes, so more items. Please have almost everything, if not everything, that's in the game that you could place in your settlements, if there's a settlement system. Should there be a settlement system? A lot of people... like, we were really hyped about it, and a lot of people were like, it took away from Fallout 4. But really, I think it did add to it. Again, I'm kind of being the optimism in all this Fallout 4 stuff, and including the voice protagonists. I'm very optimistic about that. I'm very optimistic about the settlements. I think they're improvements. I mean, you have to add more stuff. Of course, it's new to Bethesda. It's new, unique, blah blah blah. But they could obviously add more. They could obviously do better the next time. And so the settlements obviously will be a better process, a better system than Fallout 4's. And so will hopefully the items and the voice protagonists and blah blah blah. But that's pretty much what my hopes are. Now, what do you guys' hopes are? I mean, post in the comment section below what key things would you look for. Do you want a settlement system back, or you just want to have the ability to build your own house? You don't really want to build settlements and towns and stuff. Maybe you just want to build your own house and your own land and keep it for yourself. Again, try to make your own theories about how we would control these settlements. Would there be a connection between all of them? Of course, you know, in Hearthfire, we had to have certain resources in order to build stuff. So we're going to have to go out and find resources, you know, timber, logs. We have to find all sorts of steel, iron, you know, and then ingots probably to build some of the more of that armor and metal structures. But yeah, so we're going to have all these resources to go get. There's probably going to be a whole lot more different kinds of junk, to be honest, in Elder Scrolls 6, the next Elder Scrolls game. Which they're going to have the resources we need to build all our stuff. But, again, I mean, it's kind of been hectic trying to go out and find all these resources. And I really don't want to rebuild my weapons and armor, though. I really do not like that. Like, I find it a waste to do that. I mean, Fallout 4 was okay. I mean, power armor, replacing the power armor with getting more resources and stuff, that makes sense. And that was fine. But I really like how they're keeping to, you don't have to replace your weapons and your armor all the time. Your basic weapons and armor. Like that, please keep it like you don't have to repair that. I mean, I think it's just too much of a hectic and a problem to go and repair that kind of stuff. And I really, really do not want to go and have to do that. But anyway, guys, I love you all. Please post in the comment section below all your thoughts and feelings about this kind of topic. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you want it to happen? I love you all. Can't wait to see you in the next video, which is probably next week. But I love you. Peace out.